you've all seen this type of figure, these crossed legs, these knees upwards or even lateral, and those legs are stretched, the torso raised, slender, stretched too, with arm in a arch position. This figure rises and begins to travel and make a step and another and another and another, and all of a sudden, I like this very much, goes up. Jesus. This up is the typical image of classical dance, to overcome the force of gravity, to dance with lightness, defy the gravity, almost fly. Such is the case that an artifact was invented. The point shoes, where the only contact with the earth is the very, very tip of the toes. Why? Because classical dance was influenced by Romanticism. And Romanticism divided the reality into universe. On earth, when we live, we get hungry, and another one, a poetical one, a dream-like place, a transcendental one, where we project our hopes, our desires, our dreams. In this universe, we can find characters like fairies, like sylphs of the air, like swan women, spirits of the forest, spirits of the air, dwarves, giants. And these characters are dressed with a skin-tight clothes, costumes, tight leotards, tutus, costume that emphasize this ideal of human beauty that we can admire in classical Greek sculpture. Hermes, Apollo, Aphrodite, Venus, Discus, Thor, even Michelangelo's David. So in the midst of these arose a wonderful, a marvelous woman, Isadora Duncan. That the first thing that she did was to get rid of these point shoes and began to dance barefoot. Isadora, with her bare feet, she wanted to feel the ground, to feel the sand, to feel the breeze of the air, to get sensation, to get stimuli, smooth, whether sharp, pointy, cold, burning, to feel the sensation, and she wanted to feel too the freedom of her body, and she took off these skin-tight clothes and to put on white clothes, chiffon tunics, veils. She went nude. She was the first woman that she danced naked in 1902, I think. Yes. Yeah. Not because she was an exhibitionist, No, because she wanted to feel her body, to feel the freedom of her body, and in order to feel this freedom, she went to nature, or no? In order to nourish. And she found the air, the wind, and she wanted to dance this flat line between the sky and the sea, the water, the waves, the more wilder and exciting movement like fire, these ungraspable flames, or calm movement. The rotation of the earth, this imperceptible movement, or the revolution of the planets, the movement of the planets, or the growing of the plants growing, movement. Oh, I am a tree. These are branches, leaves falling down. Air, water, earth, fire, the four free elements of nature, the free organic elements of classical Greek philosophy. See, she loved classical culture, but she didn't create a method of movement. She didn't create a school behind, but she left a wonderful image. Dancing is the maximum expression of freedom of the movement. Therefore, she is considered the founder of modern dance. 15 years later, 20 years, there were other choreographers and dancers that they did create a dance method, a dance technique, a dance school. And a very, very important one was Martha Graham. And she began with a very familiar image, the heart, the beating of the heart, in, out, inside, outside, outward, collect the blood and spread it, contract, release. And she placed this in the torso as the central point of her movement, as an engine of her movement, as a motor of her movement. Because in classical dance, the torso is the mere support of arms and legs. But in classical dance, the use of torso is not used to provoke movement. But with this contract release mechanism, to place that in the torso, abdomen and thorax, where we breathe, exhale the air, so contract, inhale the air, so release, to action, to opposite actions, but complementary, that constitute the action, the act of breathing, that symbolize the creative fountain of life. Contract. Release. Contract. Release. Contract. Release. Contract. Release. What happens is from this straight and open shape, we apply this contract-release mechanism that not only does the body respond, the torso respond, but the whole body has a tendency toward an imaginable center, an epicenter, and we appear in a rounded shape, and we appear in a new position of the legs. We call it parallel straight. Even the force of contraction, the contraction are even more intensive. These knees are even more inward. Who said hyper en détente is in French terminology. So we have this new position, parallel, this open position, but we can extend this contraction to the limbs, the foot serves for this center, this epicenter. So flex position. Oh, we have a lot of position of legs, torso, and feet and foot. Parallel point, parallel flex, under point, under flex. So we enrich the vocabulary of modern dance. Contract, flex, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. All contraction has an emotional state, a psychological state. Let's see an example. The shoulders. Shoulder contraction. Shine. Embarrass. Forearm. Clench fist. Defensive. It's like somebody is following me, and I am in alert. Dangerous. Contraction. In the face. There are persons that are contracting all the time. From morning till night. Yeah. Frowning, scowling, worried, thinking a lot, reflecting. And what am I doing? We are using the contraction with the facial muscles, the eyebrow, the forehead, yeah, the forehead, the jaw. So Martha Graham noticed that the notion of contractions bring us emotive connotations and lead us to an emotional state. And therefore Martha Graham transported that into emotional content, to dramatic movement. And it's from here that Martha Graham's choreography deal with Greek mythology, with Greek tragedies, the betrayal and revenge in Medea, the guilt, the torture, the emotional torture in Oedipus Rex, the Shakespearean dramas, the Antony and Cleopatra, a nice choreography, bad trickery, dark jealousy, you know. So there is a relationship between the movement and its theme, the theme it discusses. There are a relationship between a way of movement and its thematic possibilities. In short, a relationship between dance and expression, dance and choreography. Alongside with this style, there were another choreographer and dancer. Please. But they started from another different image. Well, Doris Humphrey and Jose Limon. They observed that, for example, this object is in a vertical position. So this object has an axis, and this object is stable. If this vertical position is changed, this object leans. What happened? Falls. Okay, this easy example I can apply to my body. If I am vertical position, I am standing straight. I am in an axis. I am stable. Well, stable in this time, you know. But I am stable. So if I change my stability, I am unstable. I am almost falling. But before falling, place a leg, and so that I bounce back to my original position. I have a dialogue between axis and out of axis, between balance and imbalance, between stability and instability, between weight and counterweight, and I am leaving a part of the weight of my body, the arm weight, the head and arm and torso. So I am adding different parts of my body. I have this type of movement, this pendular movement, this falling and recovering movement, this bouncing movement, this suspension and falling. I am happy, I am joyful, I am playful, I am vivid, I am positive. One more time, you see how a way of movement conditions its motion, how a type of movement determines its subject matter. In short, movement and expression, choreography, dance and choreography. Tell me how you move, and I tell you who you are. Well, we have Isadora Duncan with her freedom about the movement and how she nourished on nature. Martha Graham mechanism and her more dramatic and dramatic themes, contents, movements, and Jose Limon, Doris Humphrey, with their dialogue between falling and recovering, and their vital themes. All these three styles constitute that we understand, in my opinion, modern dance. However, contemporary dance began with another choreographer and dancer called Merce Cunningham, who revolutionized the dance world in the way of appreciating, perceiving, composing, because she created a new technique, a new vocabulary. But Merce Cunningham was even more significant because his ideas, his thoughts about dance. Merce Cunningham was a dancer of Martha Graham company, so contraction. And he decided to cut off this link between contraction and emotion and transform this rounded and contracted shape into another decontracted, not the construction, decontracted shape, but still rounded. He would call curve, frontal curve, lateral curve, curve to the back, and collecting all the legs of the leg war from 16th century till now, but logically adding this parallel and flex position and diagonals, but combining with this new vocabulary with the torso, he created these new techniques, this well-known Merce Cunningham vocabulary. But I mentioned you that I told you that Merce Cunningham was even more significant because of his thought about the dance world. And one concept was a concept from Albert Einstein, scientist, who stated there is no fixed point in the space. There are no two points that are the same. I mean, this point is different from this over here, or that point here, or that point over here, or this point here. So each point in the space has the same value. So this point here could be center of my movement. There is no areas more important than others. All the points has the same value. So this point is my center point. So you have to move your head in order to focusing, to follow me, because I am the central point in this moment. I am the attention. I am the tension of the point. Sorry, but excuse me, but Merce Cunningham broke off with this face-to-face relationship, this frontal relationship between audience and artist. And his dancers no longer dance on center space as the more important place. His dancer will dance in in the whole space, in every point of the space, in spaces that were considered unimportant till then. Corners, the corners, okay, the corners, the winds, oh, the winds appear, disappear, one leg, also one, oh, edges, the edges, we don't have edges here, okay, even further, his company will dance out of the conventional theaters, these temples of representation. His dancer will dance in museums, on the roof of the buildings, in the airport halls, in the subways, in the train station, in the Renfe. Well, here in the Renfe, no. In the parks, Mercy Cunningham decentralized and democratized the image and the idea of space. The space dances to. Another idea, by disconnecting the relationship from its emotional dependence and removing the movement from its emotional ties, he broke off with the idea that dance has to explain a story, has to tell a story. No longer dance has to be narrative. Regarding his musician and regarding the music, his musician and collaborator, John Cage, said, let the sounds be themselves rather than theories, than vehicles of theories, artificial theories or expressions of human sentiments. Mercy Cunningham applied that to the movement. Please, let the movement be themselves and not a medium to explain a story. The movement has a meaning by itself. It's enough on its own. It's self-sufficient. Dance is not emotion, but emotion is the famous quote of Mercy Cunningham. Dance is not emotion, but motion. It's not emotion, but motion. Operation, locomotion, process, travel. The dance doesn't have to be a narrative tool anymore. The dance is not subordinated to the text, to the literature. He went further. Dance is not subordinated to music as traditionally it was. And it not depend on stage design or lighting or costume or prop or attraction. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no dependence, but independence, autonomy, liberty, coexistence, liberty. Well, dance is not emotion but motion. It was difficult to me to understand that. When I finished my studies, my dance studies here in the Institute of the Teatro, the Theatre Institute. Well, I wanted to know more about this importance of Mercy Cunningham because it was so opposed to what I did. I dance the passion of flamenco. passion of flamenco. The feeling, the sensuality of jazz. Yeah, shaking to the east, shaking to the west. Ow, shaking to the one you love the best. Sensuality, feeling. But dance is not emotion, but motion. What's that? I decided to go to New York, Mercy Cunningham Studio. Okay. The class has two parts. The first part is stationary, and you learn this new vocabulary, you learn this, how these muscles has to adapt it to this new vocabulary. So curve, standing curve, passe curve, Batman curve, and later, the second part, we said diagonal. So we combine this new vocabulary, these new exercises, with rhythm, with the space. Well, the diagonal in classical dance, for example, we have and 1, 2, da 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 16, 24 counts, or in jazz, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3. Well, 5 times 8, 40 counts. But in Mercy Cunningham. Okay, Tony. Yeah. Come on. Okay. Tony. Yeah. Come on. Yes, I'm ready. Okay, are you ready? Yeah. Okay, let's go, Tony. Good. Tony, yeah. What are you waiting for? Oh, I am waiting for music. Tony, yeah. No music. No music. The movement is independent to the music, to the text, to the lighting. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Tony, yes, just count. Okay, I'm going to count, but please, you'll stop me because I am counting. Yes, Tony, I'll stop you. Okay. 1, curve, 1 and 2, curve, and 3, curve, and 4, curve, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 21, 23, 24, 25, 30, 35, 34, 40, 41, 42, 60, 70, 80, 81, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 100, 200, 200. Jesus, 200 counts in my brain. That's not dance. That's counting. I am like a machine. I'm not prepared for contemporary life. And I decided to take a break, please. I am in crisis. I need some fresh air. So I opened the window, the glass, a lot of numbers. And when I opened the window, Jesus, I saw this amazing building, these skyscrapers, the blue sky. How many windows? How many windows? 1, 2, 3, millions of windows. And floors. Floors? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 40, 60, 70, 80. I was counting. And when I reached the street, I saw 100 people leaving this building, invading this narrow street, in occupying the streets, the bus stop in different position. This official clerk, these secretaries, subsecretaries, the brokers of the stock market, the vendor, the sidewalk vendor, the hot dog, the popcorn, the cotton candy, the ice cream, the shoe shine, the newspaper, a group of people cascading down to the subway. And other people coming up with a mop, with a bucket. Oh, the cleaning workers, the guard security, the porters, the bouncers. Wow, Jesus, this is hustle and bustle, this is the chaos, this is the anarchy, this is an army of ants. But when I look at the class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100, 200. Jesus, but what is going on in the street is going on in the class. That's the same. Then I understood dance is not emotion, but a lot of motion. Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. And the disciples of Ms. Cunningham, the disciples of Ms. Cunningham, ladies and gentlemen, said to the Master, oh, these ideas are very interesting. These ideas about multiplicity of spaces, this kind of a lot of tensions in the space. This emotion is not. This emotion, no emotion but motion. We agree with that, but we disagree with your idea about body technique. Ms. Cunningham, that she was like that. My body technique, my dancer has a serious technique. My dancer can dance in every place, in every way, in every way. Yeah, master. But you see, you have a little. Your idea about bodies is a little bit more academic. Me, academic? I'm not academic at all. With these innovations, these thoughts, those thoughts about dance. Okay, master, you know, your body technique is a little bit too focused on muscle support. Muscle support. We dancers, we need the muscle. We need the muscle to be flexible, to get tone. Muscular tone, to be strong, to get flexibility, elasticity. So, but this generation from 60s and 70s, these so-called postmodern, so-called movers, they generate the movement through 3 approaches. The first is physical contact between physical surface of the body. sliding, roughing, pushing. And that's due to the fact that in 1973, three American scientists won the Nobel Prize because they gave way to a new science, ethology, the study of animal behavior. And these students observed that the physical behavior of puppies involving a lot of physical contact, rolling over, throwing each other away, resting on there, seeking corners, snaking almost, cuddling. And not only body to body, but body with object, sliding, pushing, adapting the body to the object, shaking for, searching for corners, and rest too. Second approach, the exploration of joints, the joint of our body. We have almost 300 joints in our body. So, well, there are people only with 2 joints. But we are dancers, we need joints. And these joints are surrounded by fluid, like synovial fluid, like a more fluid, the lymphatic fluid, the blood flow, the cerebrospinal fluid, and that allows us to move in softer movement, in fluid movement, in a calm movement. And the third approach, collecting the Western physical movement culture with the conception, with the notion of energy. This energy in practice is as Tai Chi. We have this peaceful movement, this flat movement, this calm movement, or in yoga, or in meditation. Meditation, the relationship between our body to the universal body with the presence. The presence is a kind of projection, present movement. Or this energy we can concentrate and explode it, like in martial arts, judo, aikido, or Eastern techniques, Alexander technique, the right alignment of bodies, of joints, of bones, the Feldenkrais, the Pilates geotonics. All that awoke a new awareness about the body. We revisited this body in a new way, more holistic, and appear a new concept, muscular economy. Yeah, muscular economy. Be more efficiently with less effort. And we have minimal movement, minimal dance, where less is more. Or this movement could extend to its limit and disappear, to be invisible, to be an imprint, to be an image, to be an idea, a concept, conceptual dance. So between, in one hand, this concrete and physical way, and this other, in the other hand, this abstract and conceptual dance, today's choreographers and dancers have a wide space where to put forward their reflections, their requirements, their demands, their claims, their new creative needs, including performance, happenings, multimedia, visual arts, online tools. All that happened in America and Europe. What happened in Europe? Why I haven't mentioned Europe yet? Because in Europe, dance have been marked by two world war, the Great War and the Second World War. And these huge dramatic events mark on individuals and group behavior, on existential and moral and social attitudes shown in unrest, general discomfort, uncertainty, panic, trauma, injuries, physical and psychological wounds, tragedy, misery, distraction, horror. And all that is captured by German expressionism, and their artists would echo this in their different and various disciplines, in painting, Ludwig Kirchner, Kokoschka, Emil Noll, Egon Schiele, Kandinsky, Paul Klee, in literature, Metamorphosis, Kafka, Maria Rilke, theater, Bertolt Brecht, in music, Alan Berg, Arnold Schoenberg, Lulu, Wojcik. And in this artistic context arose the so-called German expressionist dance, with the fourth figure, the pioneer of this dance, the fourth figure of this dance, Mary Whitman. A movement that was developed parallel to American styles, with interruption and obstacles due to the war. The root of dance theater, and we, along with Rudolf von Laban, who summarized a whole analysis of movement, and he developed a dance notation well known as Laban notation. And we arrived to the master, we arrived to the master of dance theater, Kurt Jooss with his masterpiece, Green Table, a harsh, a poignant, a satirical critique about political class and war, a common ingredient of dance theater. And Kurt Jooss is the master of the goddess of dance theater, Bina Bausch. And we have an interesting phenomena. We have a change of vocabulary, state vocabularies, transversal practices, a hybridization, a conflict between disciplines, artistic disciplines, an introduction of autobiographical ingredients, mainly from the dancers. And the role of the dancer modifies his role. The dancer is not a mere executor of steps, jetés, pirouettes, tourelles, tapis, passé. No, the dancer is capable to dance, to speak, to be an actor. Playing music, playing instrument, of course dance, right? And being a clown. So we have dance and expression. Expression and dance, only dance. Only dance. Yeah, of course. Let's not to forget it. There are a lot of creators, a lot of styles that travel all these paths. You know, French and Belgian, so-called dance, multicultural combination, multicultural approaches, post-dance theater approaches, etc., etc. But that's a story for another day. Thank you very much.